you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came in to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Playing on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O's, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came in to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
all in, we came in to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came in to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Playing on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O's, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came in to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. The Eye Test with Pierre McGuire and Jimmy Murphy.
The Stanley Cup winning Colorado Avalanche. And after 22 years, Raymond Moore
The sickest NHL podcast. It's gonna be sick.
And welcome to another edition of the Eye Test here on the Sick Podcast Network. I am Jimmy Murphy. My co-host Pierre McGuire unfortunately will not be able to join us today. He is tied up in meetings and also giving some speeches over in Belfast, as he told us yesterday. And I guess things were just running behind today, so it's going to be too tough for him to get back to his hotel room and do it. No problem, though. We still got a good show in store for you. Of course, we've got our Q&A. Line up those questions. I hope people are tuning in. I know we're at 4 o'clock, an odd 2 o'clock start here, but we appreciate you if you do come on for this early start. And we got a great guest lined up. Longtime NHL executive Brian Burke will be joining me here on the Eye Test shortly. Can't wait to talk to Brian. Always a pleasure, and he gives such insightful answers because, like Pierre, he's been behind the scenes. He knows how it goes. So we're going to talk to Brian Burke in a bit there, but let's look back on last night. If you're a hockey fan, if you're a sports fan, I don't know what you're doing. How many hockey games did you have going? Did you have the World Series going? 16 games last night, every team in action for the NHL. And there were some great ones. I mean, I was looking at it just now, and let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 games last night were decided by one goal. We also had, let's see how many went. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games went to extra time, decided in overtime, the shootout. Of course, I know a lot of you are Montreal Canadiens fans watching. Another great thrilling win for the Canadiens there over an upstart Seattle team. Cole Caufield with the winner. What a goal by Caufield. He is just so clutch now. I believe he broke the record for most overtime goals by a Montreal Canadien. Pretty amazing what he's doing so far this year. Kind of flying under the radar, really, right? Because the team is doing so good and everybody's kind of putting up some great numbers there. And I think people are kind of focused on what Demidov's doing as a rookie and a Calder Trophy candidate. But they're also, you got Suzuki, you got the goaltending situation, you got Lane Hudson. There's so many great stories right now with the Montreal Canadiens that I think Cole is kind of nationally falling a bit under the radar. So he deserves a lot of props for the start he's off to. And if you ask me, I mean, at this point, obviously a lot can still change, but if you ask me, he's on my team if I'm the management of USA Hockey. He's got to be on the team if it's USA Hockey. So I think he'd be a great ad there. So we'll see what happens with that. But some great games. I mean, look, the Utah Mammoth finally lost. They had their win streak snapped by the Edmonton Oilers. Oilers with a 6-3 win, but still putting up a lot of goals. The scoring is up just across the league, man. I mean, look at the Kings and the Sharks, 7 total there. Mammoth Oilers, you had 9. Canadiens Kraken, you had a 7. Devils Avalanche had 12 goals. Blackhawks Senators, 10 goals. Blues Red Wings. By the way, the Blues are really reeling right now. And, it's injury problems going on there, but there's something else going on. I don't know what it is with them. They lose 5-2 to the Red Wings, but 7 goals there. 7 goals in the Jets Wild. 7 in the Lightning Predators. 7 in the Islanders Bruins. 7 in Blue Jackets Sabres. 9 in the Golden Knights Hurricanes. 7 in the Maple Leafs Flames. We will get to our Betway stuff in a bit here, but I mean, if you're a hockey gambler, you got to be looking at overs a lot right now. And I noticed too, they're going up. Usually at this time of year, you're still seeing a lot of 5.5s for the total to bet on. Now it's really the average is 6.5. And that's just because scoring is way up. I don't have the exact stats right in front of me, but it is way up right now across the NHL. So just definitely, if you're looking to bet some games, do the over. Like I said, throw your questions at me because no Pierre today, so I'll gladly take them before we get Brian on and after. We're also going to get out of here a little early. I just have to get up about an hour north to go pick up my daughter for a dance competition. So I'll probably be out of here at like 2:40, 2:45. But, one thing I wanted to talk about too, Logan Cooley today signed a contract with the Mammoth. He signs it 8 years, $80 million. Look, this kid's off to a great start. I think he's only going to get better. But if you look at his stats in his first 2 years, do they warrant that money? And from the face of it, you say no. But then, I saw a great tweet and I just sent it to our producer, Shane, kind of breaking down why he got that money. If you go to a guy by the name, he's really good. He's a good follower. I just started following him. He's called Hardcore Green Tree. His Twitter handle is at Calston Vard. So it's CalStanVard. And he really breaks down and shows you the economics of what's going on and how it all intertwines into the Cooley deal and other contracts that we're seeing, how the TV deals in the NHL with Rogers up in Canada, how that affects how players are getting paid now because it's doing so well. It's giving teams, because everyone's getting part of the HRR, that is now going into some players' contracts. It's giving them more money to give back to the players. So it's working out really nice for the players right now. He gets a great deal there, 8 years, 8 times 10 with a 10 million AAV. So good for him. And that's a team obviously on the rise right now. You look at the magic that they got going there in that line with Cooley and Peterka. Just a really good pickup for the Utah Mammoth in the off season. But it goes to, and this is what I want to get into with Brian when he joins us. It kind of ties in. It's Pierre has been stressing how much right now is on the owners and the GMs, management, not necessarily the coaches and the players, but more management. And it's sort of like, how do you team build, right? Like, how do you measure it? And am I putting too much? Am I too top heavy, paying, I don't know, 2 to 4 guys at the top, and then there's a drop off, right? How do you mix it up? How do you keep that chemistry? How do you find that balance right now? Something I want to ask Brian with the rising cap, and how important is it to have guys that understand these projections and how accurate they are or aren't? So there's a lot of that, I'm sure, that's going into team building right now. So we'll get into a little of that with Brian. Also want to talk about a couple of his former teams, the Leafs and the Flames that he worked with. The Penguins are a surprise team. Remember, he was with the Penguins for a bit. So want to talk to him about that. And then also just like, I said last night on the Bruins Vibes post-game show, Bruins with a good bounce-back win, credit to them, gutsy win, 5-2 over an upstart Islanders team that had been playing well, had been scoring a lot. The Bruins bounced back from that 7-2 debacle in Ottawa the night before. Give them a lot of credit, but I don't think this team's doing anything. As I said last night, I think they're average at best. They're mid. They'll be in the middle pack at best. I think they'll be lower than that. Excuse me. But what I did say was, if they're out of it by, say, Thanksgiving or Christmas, I really think, and I hope you got me there because I'm freezing up on my. Okay, we're back. If they're out of it by Thanksgiving or Christmas, I think we could see another major part of their core traded. We saw Brad Marchand get traded at the deadline last year. The way that Marco Sturm and Don Sweeney are talking right now, where like it's constantly blaming the players and not owning up that you put this roster together. They're putting the onus firmly on the players right now, and they're not going to own it at all. So it's going to be an interesting thing to see there, how that winds up with the Bruins as they go forward. But we do have our guest right now, longtime NHL executive joining me right now here on the Eye Test, Brian Burke. We'll bring him in right now. Thanks, Shane, for doing that. Burke, you there?
I am. How are you?
Good. I can't see your handsome face.
Well, I'm doing something wrong, I guess.
That's okay. We still got your voice. How's everything going?
Good, I think. No.
Okay, now we got the audio. All I'm seeing is like.
Sure.
And Burke, Pierre apologizes. He got caught up. He's in Belfast giving some speeches for the IHF over there in Belfast. So he's going to be unable to join us, but he gave his best. Says hello to you, and he misses you.
What?
Your camera is here, so you gotta.
Right now.
Okay, they're going to fix the camera there, but get into that in a bit. But I'll get back to that Bruin stuff I was talking with the viewers and listeners later. Oh, all right. So we're gonna let Berkey fix that and get back on in a second. So just to continue my Bruins thing, I have a feeling, like it's just a gut feeling. nobody's told me anything. I'm just basing this on the history of how they do things there. I really feel that one of Pasternak, Swayman, one of Pasternak, Swayman, or McAvoy will get dealt before the end of the season if things continue to go downward. So it's something to monitor there. And that obviously would then signify, okay, they're really in a rebuild, and it would clear a lot of cap space, and it would, could get them a haul in what's going to be an amazing draft. But it's going to, not probably be too well received with the fan base there in Boston. So that's something to look at. The other thing too, I want to get your take on out there if you're watching, and you can put in the comment section. It's just, what do you think of the Frozen Frenzy? Like, I think it's great. It's fun, but is it too hard to keep up with the games? Was it advertised and marketed enough? Should it be on a weekend? There was something missing. Like, I feel like we all weren't ready for it, right? It should have been hyped up more. So, all right, we got Brian Burke. Let's bring him in right now. Hey, there he is. How are you, Brian?
I'm good. Thank you. Sorry.
No worries at all. No worries at all. Good to see you. So, yeah, Pierre's not with us. He's in Belfast right now. He's lucky. He's over there doing some work for the Belfast Giants and giving some speeches. So he said to say hello to you. Have you been to Belfast, Brian?
I have, yes. I spoke
Great
to
place.
the Belfast Giants.
Wow. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, we were over there last year, Pierre and I, for the Friendship Four. We're going back again in a few weeks, and for the women's at the end of December. I loved it. It was my first time in Ireland, and we got to do a day in Dublin as well. Where else in Ireland you been to?
Pretty well all over, just twice. I went to Belfast and Dublin, and I took my 4 older kids to a quick tour around Ireland.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Do some golf?
My family's from County Mayo originally on the west coast.
You still have family there?
No.
No. Yeah, I guess I still have cousins in Cork, so maybe I'll have to get over to see them. But it's amazing. It's everything is advertised when you go over there, especially if you're Irish and you've got Irish background. It lived up to it. Berkey, I was saying to our listeners and viewers earlier, just talking about the Logan Cooley contract, and I think reasonable with the where the cap's going right now. It's to be expected. It's going to be a little higher than maybe people expect. We're going to see more of that. We are seeing more of it. But in terms of the rising cap, if you're a GM, like, how important is it to really put certain values on different players, right? Like, you don't want to have too much, like 4 players getting paid X amount at the top and then a drop off. How do you balance it all right now with the rising cap?
Well, I think it's very important. I think as the cap goes up, I think you're seeing an amazing acceleration of player salaries.
Mm-hmm.
And if you make a mistake on an 8-year deal, you're screwed. You're really in trouble. So I think most of these deals make sense. I don't think Cooley's deal makes sense today. I think it will in the year. Percentage of the cap is what drives this whole thing, not what players are paid. It's what percentage of the cap.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a relatively recent trend, but it's huge.
Yeah.
So to me, I think Cooley's deal will make sense in a year.
And but right now, like, I agree with you. Right now, it doesn't look like it makes sense, but it will. Do you think it's hard right now for GMs to pitch that to owners to justify it, or the owners just got to give the trust to the GM?
I think it depends on your owner. Obviously, your owner has to listen to you, but I think this is a sensible bet on what this player is going to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
And the question becomes, where does this stop? Like, really, this recent explosion of salaries, which I love. I love players to get paid, but I'm not sure everyone can get paid on one team with a hard cap.
Right. Yeah. And that's the other thing too that Pierre and I have been stressing is that, even though the cap's going up, right, and I'm sure you'll agree, teams are still going to have internal caps. It's just not going to mean that every team's going to spend to the cap, because, like it or not, some teams are making more money than others. And you see some of these smaller market teams, and more specifically the Canadian smaller market teams, I think it's going to be tough for them to keep up. And I'm wondering, Berkey, do you think we're going to lose some parity as we go on here?
Well, there's a revenue sharing provision that should equalize to a large extent what teams can pay and what they can spend. So there should be a level playing field to some extent, not 100%. But with revenue sharing, teams will have adequate resources to pay. Mm-hmm. But there'll be a redistribution for sure.
Yeah. we'll see what happens there. All right, Berkey, I don't know, how much hockey you've been watching lately, but just if you look around the league, are there teams right now that you're looking at and saying, man, I knew they were maybe coming. I knew they were going to eventually be good, but they're good right now. Like, they've really surprised you. Any teams like that have surprised you?
Utah and Montreal. Utah lost last night finally, but they're really exciting too. Utah's exciting to watch. I love the way they play, and Montreal's the other one.
Yeah, Montreal's really fun. How great is it?
Sorry.
That's okay. We look at Montreal and we know what a great hockey market it is and what hockey's like up there. How great is it to just see that fan base get a team like this? And it looks like they're going to have a good team for years to come.
Well, I've said this for years, Murph. You know this. I think the league is better when Montreal and Toronto are both competitive. Mm-hmm. It drives TV ratings. It drives people watching. No question about it. So I think the fact that Montreal and Toronto are both advanced teams is a good thing for us.
Yeah, I'd agree. Berge, I want to ask you just to, you worked in plenty of markets, right? What was the toughest market to work in? And also, what was the best market? Where did you have your best time?
Well, the best time was Anaheim because we won it all. But the toughest market is Toronto, not because they're unfair. I really felt the media were fair to me in Toronto. The problem is the mass of people. So you have these big dressing rooms in the NHL. They're not for the players. They're for the media. Mm-hmm. So after a game in Calgary, I'd have maybe 30 people in the room talking to me about the team or talking to the players about the team. On a Saturday night in Calgary, maybe 50. Every night in Toronto, it's 80 to 100. And they're all jammed in there with cameras and microphones. So the pressure is huge because of the number of people that cover the team, not because they're unfair. Actually, felt the media coverage was fair. Uh-huh. But Montreal's particularly tough because you're stupid twice in French and in English. And Vancouver's got a vicious social media side. Yeah,
they have. I agree with you on that. Yeah, it's amazing just as a reporter being in those scrums and everything, especially being on the smaller side that I am. Sometimes I'd have to get up on the stools and just to see over and be able to ask a question. It was nuts. But you look at Toronto, if you think back to when you were with Toronto, what were like those Toronto-Montreal rivalry games like?
Well, we had fans that didn't care if we won a game all year as long as we beat Montreal.
It was that bad.
I had fans come up to me and say, I don't care if you lose tomorrow night. I don't care if you lose Thursday night. You can't lose Saturday night to Montreal. The rivalry is very deep and very personal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Boston to Toronto was pretty good for some of your time there too, huh?
Oh, yeah. People don't like Boston.
So, Berg, the other thing I want to talk to you about, the Flames, right? You worked in that market. They're it looks like they're in, let's call it a reset, whatever you want to call it, transitional period. They're in that period right now. How much harder is it to do that in a market like Calgary versus, say, something in the States?
Well, it's harder in Canadian markets are harder generally, but having said that, Calgary just missed the playoffs last year, I think by 2 points. Mm-hmm. And they had a poor start this year. I don't think the goaltender, who I really love, Dustin Wolf, has not been himself. He was last night and the night before that. But the first 5 or 6 games, I thought he looked very normal, very human. He's not human. He's better than that. Yeah. So I think they're waiting to see what their team is like once they get some goaltending and put things together. I think they have a better team. Like last night, they played well enough to win that game. It was a horrible mistake late in the game, a giveaway, and Toronto won. But they shouldn't have won. It should have gotten overtime somehow. So I think they're still wait and see on that.
How much, though, when you look at they've got the new arena coming, right? And there's a lot of demands in that market, as we're saying. It's a passionate fan base. If you're a G, I'm not asking you to be the GM there right now, but if you've probably been in a situation like this, when you know that maybe it's time to sort of shuffle over the roster a bit and get younger and make some moves, how do you pitch it to the owner? Because when it comes to the owner, it's usually the bottom line, right? They want to make sure that they're still making money. How do you pitch a retool, reset, whatever you want to call it, to an owner?
Well, I think you have to always be honest with your owner on where you are and where your team's going to be. I think it's important to coincide to have a competitive roster when you open a new building. No question about it. I think any owner would say, hey, dummy, you don't need to explain that to me. When we open the new building, the team has to be competitive. I think that'll be true no matter who the owner is, Murray Edwards or anyone else. So I think that's just common sense and just, routine maintenance for a team. You get to a point where you're opening a new building, you gotta have some star power.
So you look at the runway they have right now. You think they have enough time to pull off this transition and be ready to go when that building goes up?
Well, I tell you, Murph, to be honest with you, I look at how teams play more than I look at how their results are.
Mm-hmm.
So if we lost 5 out of 6, but we played well, I hadn't panicked too much.
Oh,
If I'm Calgary last night, they lost 6 of 7 or 7 of 8, whatever it was. They played well enough to win that game, and their power play especially looked very well developed. So to me, the way they were passing the puck, they look like a team that was playing in February, not in November or October. So I would say to myself, okay, they're going to get there. They're going to figure it out. So I wouldn't panic just yet. I'd take some time.
See, that's interesting, right? Because obviously the media is going to blow it up way more, but it's great to have a mindset like that. There's been a lot of talk in Calgary about Nazem Kadri and his future there. Will they decide maybe we want to move you and get picks or whatever and prospects? But I like how you're looking at it there. Maybe the team is probably looking at it completely different than the fans and the media, right? We've been hyping up, Kadri's on the block. He'll go there. But they're probably looking at it and saying, hey, I know that we aren't winning, but as you said, we're trending in the right direction again. So when you're a GM and you've got a guy like that, you could move, but you feel like your team still has a shot, you hold on to him for a bit more, right?
Well, I'd like to, they won 3 games so far. I'd like to know how many they would have won without Nazem Kadri. None.
Yeah.
He's been their best forward, I think, from what I've seen. And he provides a competitive spark, leadership. He's a useful player at all times. So to me, talking about trading Nazem Kadri is A, dumb, and B, immature, premature.
Yeah. I think it's dumb too because you got young kids, right, that you're trying to teach to be a pro and what they got to do to maintain that status. He's a good guy to have. Speaking of Kadri, you were there in Toronto when he was there. What have you thought about the player and the person he's become over the years? Because he had some bumps, but he's seemed to really come into his own over the last, I'd say, 5 years.
Yeah, we had to straighten a few things out with him, but this is a player that plays with great intensity, great intellect, great hockey mind, and competes hard. He played in the first line when we first had him up at the Marlies in the AHL. He was the first line center, moved him up to 2, moved him up to 3, moved him up to 3, then to 2. He can play a second line center. He's good enough to be a number 2, good enough offensively, but he's a mean son of a bitch too. Like he's a good number 3 center too. So he's a useful guy, an important player.
Were there guys back when you had him there, like players, veterans, I don't know who, but guys that you kind of leaned on to maybe mentor him a bit and push him in the right direction?
Yeah, we had good leadership there. We had Dal Seekins was his coach at the Marlies coming on. Dal Seekins is a hell of a coach. So yeah, we had the right support system there. We had a couple of bumps in the road, a couple of traffic violations and other problems, but we sorted it out.
He kind of reminds me of the path. I mean, they're different players, right? But in terms of kind of walking a line and getting in trouble with the league a bit of time, kind of reminds me of the trajectory that Brad Marchand had. I mean, who would have thought 10 years ago or 15 years ago that Brad Marchand would be the player he is now?
Yeah, there's a lot of comparables, a lot of comparables to that situation with Brad Marchand. The thing about Nazem is you want to make sure a player plays by the rules, but you want to make sure he doesn't cross the line. But a player playing on the edge is a valuable player.
I agree.
A player that comes close to crossing the line and steps over the line once in a while, that's not the end of the world.
Right. But if he does it too much, then you get a problem.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. Berkey, before I let you go, what are you doing these days? Just
Nothing.
enjoying life? Nothing? That's a great thing.
It's okay for so far. I'm waiting to see on a couple things, but I'm doing some speaking and I'm watching a lot of hockey.
And I'm watching a lot of hockey too, and some of that hockey is back in your old stomping grounds in Providence. I live right down the street from PC now.
Oh, really? That's great.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
We have a good team.
Yep, they do. Nate Lehman does a good job.
I played in the first game played in that arena, at Schneider Arena.
Really?
1973, yeah.
That's a great barn, man. You don't see many old ones like that anymore. We had this conversation on the eye test with Pierre and a couple other people before that, you look at the Hockey East and the ECAC, they still have some of these old barns, and they're not, cookie cutters, so to speak. And I love going into those. Snyder's a fun place.
Yeah, it's a good building. They renovated it a few years ago. It's really nice now.
Nice. Well, listen, you ever down in this neck of the woods, let me know. A pint of Guinness on me, my friend, okay?
Thanks, Murph.
All right. Brian Burke joining us here on the eye test. Thanks a lot. Always fun to talk to him. I always I gotta confess, when I was covering the Bruins, he was with a couple different teams, Toronto for most of my time, where I was covering the Bruins. And he was good friends with one of my mentors, Russ Conway, Hall of Fame hockey scribe, passed away back in 2018 or 2019, excuse me. But anyhow, a couple times they wound out after a game, other times just having pints here and there and just listening to them tell stories. After that, I always wanted him to become the GM of the Bruins, just so I'd get to deal with him on a regular basis, because he's got that great old Irish curmudgeon about him, but he's fair. He can be tough, but he's fair, and he knows the game so well. He knows so many people. He's seen so much. So it'd be great to work with a guy like that on a daily basis, but hopefully I'll see him around. It's great to have him on the eye test. All right, let's get to our sponsors. Our wonderful new sponsor we brought on this year. Cannot wait to try their food soon. Vago Italian. Vago combines old world classics and new Italian dishes for over 23 years. Private dining rooms for any occasion. Open Monday to Saturday evenings and lunch from Tuesday to Friday. Located at 1336 Green Avenue in Westmount. That's the Westmount neighborhood of Montreal. For reservations, call 514-846-1414. Again, that's 514-846-1414. Again, I have not eaten there yet, but from what I'm told, it's great, and I would highly suggest, I know we got a lot of scouts and management folks that watch and listen. When you go through Montreal, make a stop there at Vago and tell them that the eye test sent you, and they will treat you well. And of course, our other sponsor, Betway. You can still go all the way and bet the beauties with Betway. Join the action right now with the QR code right in front of you, or go to the members section, fill out the details there to create your membership, and you get a great opening offer. You can get up to $300 back on your first deposit, and you could still lose, and you're still getting some credit to play with. So go over there right now. I hope everybody did well last night. My parlays didn't hit, but that one I told you that I was really confident about, the over in Chicago and Ottawa, hit, and it hit early. I think it was something like 7 minutes into the second period. They had already gone over 5.5. One game on the docket after that madness last night in the frozen frenzy, and that is a Toronto Maple Leafs, the aforementioned Maple Leafs who we were discussing with Berkey, joining. They will be in Columbus with a game against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Blue Jackets have been playing a little better. Not really get much. They don't usually get a lot of fanfare unless they're in Columbus, but they're playing a little better. So I think this is a good game. By no means an easy one for Toronto, but I do like the Maple Leafs to win on the money line. You can get it right now at -120. And I also kind of like, if you bring down the over-under, it's at 6.5, much like every game I was mentioning earlier. If you can put that down to 5.5, which I think you can right now at Betway, that's a good bet as well. I see it going over 5.5. I don't quite know if it gets to 7, but I do see it maybe going over 5.5. So those are my two bets for Wednesday. And if you want to dabble into soccer, you got some time. There's about an hour left. Go bet my Reds. The Liverpool Reds are in action today against Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace has beat them twice already. There's no way Liverpool's going to lose 3 times to them, right? There's no way. And they're going to be revved up to beat them and get some revenge. So I like Liverpool. They're at -120 money line as well. All right, let's get to the Q&A. What do we got? Oh, and this is one that came through me in DMs last night. It was great. So, hey, Jimmy, pardon the Twitter DM. I never got to tune into the eye test pod in real time and thus never get to formally submit questions for you. He lives overseas. I listen and watch to you guys every morning while I cook breakfast for my girlfriend, and her and I joke now every morning before I fire up the stove, it's going to be sick. It's become my favorite part of the day. Thanks to you and Pierre for keeping the show fun, but also insanely hockey smart. I got a question for you guys. If you'll ask, the Islanders, this year's Islanders look like they're trying to push the pace a bit more under Patrick Roy, but they're still giving up a ton of high danger chances. Is that a function of the system growing pains, or roster limitations or just pure execution from the defensive corps? Catch up with you in the morning during breakfast. Thanks a lot. And I forgot, let me pull up who sent that as well. It was somebody by the name of Phil Corso, at Phil Corso on Twitter. Phil, thanks for listening. I hope you're enjoying your breakfast as you get this answer to your question. I think it's just, learning the system. I'm seeing that with a lot of teams. I see it with the team I cover a lot, the Bruins. They're learning a different hybrid system under Marco Sturm. Some tweaks there, and it's tough. We're still in that phase where you're adapting. Now, if we get to December 1st and they're still giving up those chances left and right, then you got an issue, and maybe you got to reevaluate, do we need to change the system or do we need to change the players and get players that can play the system better? All right, what's the next question? What do we got? Ethan Russell. What's up, Ethan? Thanks for tuning into the Bruins Vibes last night. How important is it for Pittsburgh to stay on course of the rebuild instead of adding players at the trade deadline if they are still in the playoff picture come March? I got to say right now, Ethan, you read my mind. I was thinking about teams like that, right? I thought Calgary's a team like that. I know they had a good start, and I get what Berkey's saying, that they're playing better, but don't veer away from where you are in the big picture and where you got to get to. I think the same thing with Pittsburgh. I mean, I know the years are dwindling for Crosby and Malkin. I know they're playing awesome right now. But if you go out and you trade pieces that are going to help your rebuild, whether that's prospects, which they have a lot of, Pierre's been raving about Wilkes-Barre Scranton, or picks, are you going to have to start over, or you're kind of pausing the rebuild? It's a tough position to be in as a GM, but I really think right now they got to just stay the course on the rebuild. All right, what's the next question? And sorry about my lighting there. I don't know what's going on. Let me see if I can fix that. We're in all sorts of technical difficulties today, huh? Oh, now I disappeared. There we go. Whoa, we get all sorts of lights. Well, better we'll have that graphic there. I don't know what happened there, guys. I apologize. All right, what's the next question here? What do we got? Juice, Jimmy, what playoff series during your time? They look like poltergeist, man. During your time covering the Bruins, which was the most heartbreaking for the players? Oh, easily. It was, it's a tie, I would say. So not easily. 2019 Game 7 against St. Louis on home ice, losing that game and really not even being in it by any means. Obviously Jordan Binnington was huge, but there was something missing there in that game. And then I think Game 7 against Philly in 2010 when they lost in the second round after blowing a 3-0 series lead. I think that's what hurt them there. So I think those are probably, out of all the teams I've covered, those are the two most heartbreaking for the team and the fans. All right, next question. Brodeur, HOF. You answered my Devils question yesterday and mentioned Markstrom taking a red-hot Jake Allen in net. Bingo. Now Colorado snapped. The heater in Colorado's on a heater. Should they stay the course or put Allen back in? I would have stayed with Allen. Okay. I remember, and I think it was Bill Simmons, and I don't know what is going on with my lighting here, guys. I apologize. I didn't move anything. Let me see if I can choose a different black screen here. A green screen background, I mean. No, it still stinks. Whatever. We'll stay with this. I remember Bill Simmons way back. I forget what year it was, in the 90s when the Knicks really, so it must have been like early to mid 90s, and the Knicks are really good and they made the finals a couple times. They had Patrick Ewing, and Patrick Ewing was out for an extended period of time, and the team went on a run. And the guy, I don't remember the guy's name. You can go look it up. Whoever the player was that filled in for him, like came out of nowhere and was awesome, right? And he really filled in admirably and became one of their key pieces. But then when Patrick Ewing was healthy, they immediately went back to Ewing. And I get it. He's a star. He's your leader. So you immediately go back to him and you put the other guy on the bench, and the team started losing. So Simmons called it the Patrick Ewing theory. And that's what I always go back to when I see situations like Allen and Markstrom, is like, do you hold the guy for a little more? Let's run the hot goalie, man, especially if it's a goalie. If it's a positional player or skater, it's different, I think. But when it's a goalie, it's like in baseball. If you got a hot pitcher and then all of a sudden the guy that's usually in his spot in a rotation comes back, I find a way to keep both of them. Or I find a way, maybe right now, if I'm the Devils, to at least rotate. Don't just go back to Markstrom being the absolute 1A or the absolute starter. and then, Allen getting in every 2 to 3 games. I would rotate at least. All right, next question. Ethan Russell, is Jersey the best team in the Metro long-term and heading into the playoffs as long as there are no injuries? Yes. Though I do like Carolina. If they get a goalie, whole different story. All right, next question. Jimmy, are you and Pierre going to be live from CT Ice this winter? We are working on it. And Eric Open, if you're watching right now, I will get back to you. I've been crazy busy. Eric is our man who helped set that up last year, so I'm going to work with him to hopefully make it happen. I will let you know, Ethan, for sure. We'll definitely advertise it on here. All right, next question. M go back to back to back. Larkin has benefited so much from McClellan taking over. Totally agree. But I give a lot more credit to Larkin himself. He's been awesome. He was great. I mean, remember when Pierre said a couple of years back, or was it last year, he got hurt down a stretch? I think it was 2 years ago. Like they would have made the playoffs if he didn't get hurt. So when he's healthy, he's one of the best centers in the league, period. End of story. All right, next question. Randy Workman, 79-63. Things are rough with Coronado and Parike being benched. Yeah, it's a learning process, though. You know what? They're young kids. I don't think they'll take it personal, Randy. It's just part of the growing process when you have young players like that. No matter how much potential star power they have, you got to treat them equally. If they're not doing what they got to do, have them go up top, watch them above, and they'll come back down and improve. So that's it. That's what we got for questions here. And like I said, I appreciate it. Brief eye test today. Thanks to Brian Burke. Thank you to our good friend Shane, the producer up in Montreal. And thanks to all of you for your questions and for everyone watching and listening. We'll be back here tomorrow. I'm not sure who the guest will be, but it's looking like we're going to have somebody, whether it's a player, management, or coach, from the Utah Mammoth. Let me just check if maybe the email came in since I've been on. No, nothing yet. But we're looking to get a Utah Mammoth guest tomorrow here on the eye test. And again, Friday, we will not be on the air. Pierre is traveling. I am as well. So tomorrow is our last show of the week. So don't miss it. Tune in here at the regular time at 4 p.m. Eastern for the eye test on the Sick Podcast Network. Talk to you tomorrow.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the eye test with Pierre McGuire and Jimmy Murphy on YouTube, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.